think we're ready to go right now. So, yeah, sorry for the delay, everybody. Today, I'll be joined by my dear friend Dividia over here. Can you present yourself?
Yeah, I wish I could wave, but I can't. But hello, I am Dividia Storm. I am a mummy monster VTuber. I'm a variety streamer. I play video games, do art, and I like to read on stream.
That's so cool. Yeah. First of all, I'm really sorry for the delay. I just overslept because I had a really bad sleep last night. But I'm awake now, and it's time to stream. I didn't want to delay it. The video here is too special to just let it go. You know, it's pretty busy, so I didn't want it to just not take the opportunity I had. So yeah. Let's start up with the usual stuff. What exactly do you play on stream most usually?
Usually, a lot of the time, I play a lot of League of Legends. I actually was playing League while waiting for you earlier today, but I also play other games too. Sometimes I'll play Overwatch. I think, what else do I have in my arsenal of games here? I've got Destiny 2, which I've played on stream before, Monster Hunter World, and The Adventures of Catman. Those are mostly it for the games. Art streams, I just draw fan art of people. I draw art of my own character, emotes, things like that. Some live 2D stuff, just practicing for now. And the reading stream, we're still working on our current book, which is A Spell for Chameleon by Piers Anthony, I believe. Let me open up the book here. I think we're still on chapter 9, if I remember correctly, so we're almost done with it. There's 4 more chapters to go.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Continuing on with the same question, do you have any games that you are not able to play but you want to on a future stream?
Not currently. I think the only ones that I would probably try and attempt to play would be Apex. I'm not very good at it, but stream-wise, I would always make my streams lag significantly. I have not tested it since getting my new parts, but maybe I'll try Apex pretty soon here. I'd like to learn more how to play Valorant as well, but first-person shooters really aren't my specialty, honestly. I'm pretty bad at them.
Yeah, talking from experience here, usually for a first-person shooter, if you're not used to play it, you need a shitload of hours to get used to. Like,
Yeah.
in my case, for example, I always told my friends, dude, I cannot play first-person shooters to save my life. I have eye problems. And they say, fuck it, let's play Rainbow Six. They give me the game, and we played like 300 hours every single time for I don't know how many hours a day. And I ended up getting pretty good at it. I don't know how or why, but I ended up getting pretty good. And I translated those hours on Rainbow Six to other games, which is so cool. Like,
Yeah.
you need the correct motivations to just go and play it, but yeah, it can be a good time for with friends if you have the patience to it.
Yeah. It kind of sucks, honestly, because there are other players that are better than I am, and I'll just be like running around, especially in Destiny if I've played Crucible or Gambit or whatever, and you just get those snipers. You're just like, suddenly you're dead, and it's like, what the fuck, bro? I don't know if you want me to swear or not, but that's probably. I'll try not to swear too much.
Nah, it's okay. We're here to just chill, you know. That's why the blanket is.
Yes.
The thing is, there will be always people who will be better than you. That's the hard reality of games, sadly, because I mean that's true on every single game I played so far, and I'm a fighting game player, so yeah, you will have people that will clean the floor with you. But sometimes those sweet victories that come after are way more special because of that.
And that's why I describe myself being a variety streamer. I like to describe myself as a jack of all trades, master of none, because I play games to have fun with them. I'm not playing games because I want to try and get into diamond or whatever ranks that certain games may have. I'm just doing it to have fun. If I end up getting a high rank, cool. If I don't, oh well, who cares?
Hell yeah. Well, yeah, that was a topic we talked about with Midori last time. And the thing with meta is, I just like the meta because I like to bitch about it. Like, yeah, this chapter is broken as fuck, dude. Yeah. And then proceeds to play it or proceeds to play something off meta. So, yeah.
Yeah, off meta. Yeah, exactly it. I like to play certain things off meta, especially if I see, like, so for instance, I used to watch a lot of Night Blue 3. He is a jungle main League of Legends player. He's not an esports player by any means, but he has been challenger for a couple years in a row now. So you could call him a pro player, I suppose.
Yeah.
But he would almost always have like jungle builds that were quote unquote off meta, but they would be super strong. So like for instance, AP Volibear, for example, you would just build straight up ability power Volibear. You get Gnasher's Tooth, which increases your attack speed and everything else, and it would do crazy damage. So I actually brought it into the game to try it, and it was actually a lot of fun. And people were like spam pinging, "What are you doing with this?" Like the items and things that I was building. I'm like, I'm wee woo Volibear, because I was wearing the I was using the Captain Volibear, and every time you'd use your Q, it would go wee woo wee woo. So it became wee woo Volibear for me.
Oh yeah. I mean, it speaks volumes of the guy that has the experience to just get to challenger using those builds. But yeah, that's that can be considered a pro player. But an official pro player will be on like the esports scene. But you can be a pro without being on the esports scene. That's my take on that. Because
just like,
there are so many good players out there that aren't even interested on the competitive scene. Like they just play, they just get good, and they just chill with it.
Yeah,
I love it.
They just vibe with it. Exactly. Yeah, they're not incorporated into any sort of official esports team. They're just good at the game without needing to or wanting to be a part of a team, you know. You could say that a lot about a lot of different things as well. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can say that. Well, there are games that are just one-on-one, but yeah, you can have a team, quote unquote, of that with a coach. But yeah, I don't know.
It's not necessarily required. And everybody's different. I mean, you could apply that to the VTubing community too, because there are plenty of indie VTubers that are pretty big that don't either they don't want to be part of an agency or they just haven't tried, you know. So
yeah, I mean, behind every VTuber there will be a team, no matter what size, no matter if it's a company or not. If you think about it, every single VTuber has a team behind it, a team of artists, a team of modelers, everything.
Yeah, and their community as well, the people that follow them. Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. In our case, for example, the community will be the main part since we made ourselves the stuff we use. Except the music, though. Except the music, though. That's the only thing. Well. But yeah. Moving on. What else do I have in a bucket? Man, I don't understand my own writing. Okay.
I love taking notes.
Yeah, me. Sometimes I don't do that because that's just wasting time depending on the stuff I'm doing. But
it could potentially ruin the flow too, and then eventually end up not even following it anyhow.
Yeah, that's what's happening now. I don't even know what the hell. But still. Oh, the playlist you give me. It has some Undertale for what I just listened to. Can you explain why do you have that?
Alright, so for people who don't know, I'm gonna explain a little bit more about my character creation process. So this character I actually drew around 2015, 2016, so that was when Undertale first came out. It was getting popularity. It was pretty popular at the time. I was reading a lot of Undertale alternate universe comics on Tumblr, and I really had this thing for Sans at the time. So I initially decided if I was gonna ever write my own fanfic or whatever, I want to have my own OC in it. So I created this character. She is a mummy monster, so that's where the monster part comes from. And there was no mummies in Undertale whatsoever. So I'm like, okay, a unique character. You know, it's a monster. And it can fit within the universe without being like a Mary Sue, because I'm not making her any sort of like main character that the protagonist would encounter along the way, have a boss battle with. It'd just be like a background character, you know, just like, hey, here's this character. But then I never actually ended up writing a fanfic or anything like that. I just ended up making the character. I actually did an art trade a while back with somebody I knew at the time, so they ended up drawing my character as well. And then I kind of forgot about her for quite a long time because I was also a part of other communities within the furry community. And when I discovered VTubers about a year ago, I decided to make this character my OC for, you know, a YouTube model. So here we are. So, origin story, too long, didn't read. I'm an Undertale OC essentially. You should probably ban that person.
Yep. Righto. Hold on.
What up, bot? Goodbye.
Go back to.
Mm-hmm. What else? So yeah, Undertale is one of my favorite indie games, as well as Deltarune. There's a couple of Deltarune songs in here, so.
Yeah, well, it's technically a continuation to Undertale for what I played, and it's pretty good. Technically, continuation to Undertale for what.
We still don't know if it's not really a continuation from what Toby Fox has said, but yeah, it's the same vein, you know, same music style, and I love Toby Fox. They are a very decent composer, very great composer. I could get into the technicalities of music composition, but as I know very little about music composition myself, I won't.
I mean, you can say just the music is really, really cool, really good. You don't need to.
Well.
Yeah, you don't need to say about the composition and all of that. You just enjoy the music. And to be completely fair with you, Toby Fox is great with music. Like, he made one of the most standing memes out of fucking Undertale. So, props to the guy. That song is really good. Every single piece of the soundtrack for both Undertale and Deltarune is the best you can have.
So I think I actually chose remixes. So I chose Home, which is remixed by Holder. It's a very chill vibe, very reminiscent of, you know, when you first are falling down into the underground
it's
first
basically
time, and then towards the end of the story as well. It is very calm, very relaxing. Basically,
you feel at home.
Makes you feel cozy. So
yeah, makes you feel at home. Yeah, that's the point.
Exactly.
So, yeah, yeah.
It's very slow. It's very lo-fi-esque, but I wouldn't qualify it as lo-fi. Honestly.
It's not lo-fi.
It's very more like chill. It's more like chill stuff.
It's just chill. Sure. Yeah, it's just chill. The classic guitar you can use on that is super chill. Acoustic guitar. I'm sorry. I don't have my music turned on still.
I don't even know what's currently playing at the moment. So
it's Hollow from Kingdom Hearts 1.5.
Ah, okay, that's okay.
Hollow Bastion.
Yeah. Oh, that one. I like that one. I'm sure we'll get to that in a moment, though. But the other Undertale remix song I picked was Asgore, which is the DJ Joe remix.
Yeah, I hear a lot of this.
Asgore's theme, when you are fighting him, is very powerful, I'd say. It's a very powerful theme song.
Yeah.
It's very majestic. I mean, it fits a king, obviously. But this particular remix makes it very upbeat and more dramatic. It enhances those features already felt in the original theme song, and that's why I like it a lot. And I definitely recommend listening to both of them if you like Undertale. And even if you don't like Undertale, I still recommend listening to it because they're both equally very good remixes.
True. Yeah. Then we have some Kingdom Hearts stuff here. Why?
Yeah.
Do you like Kingdom Hearts? I'm guessing because this is a
Um,
very specific song from Kingdom Hearts 1.5.
yes. I mean, it's the remix. It's the HD remix for the first Kingdom Hearts either way. Hollow Bastion, so this is more towards the end of the game, where you're getting closer to the end, and this is the song right before you have to fight Riku, who is supposed to be Sora's lifelong best friend, who ends up getting kidnapped, and or he doesn't become kidnapped, he ends up like falling to darkness or whatever. And this is the last world before you have to fight him, as well as Heartless Riku form. And it's very dramatic. It's very much like this is the end. This is near the end of the story. This is like the final world, the final fights before you save everybody. It's very dramatic. It's very like like you got to get through this. You got to go. You got to get to the end. You got to go save Kira or Kairi. I mean, you got to save them both actually, because you're also trying to fight and save Riku at the same time, because he's better than being evil, everything else. So every time I think of Kingdom Hearts, I almost always think of this song, as well as Traverse Town for sure. It's very nostalgic for me. It was the Kingdom Hearts series is one of my ultimate favorite games of all time, and I love playing the heck out of it. So I was really excited to finally get remixes, because not having a PS2 anymore, you couldn't really play it. So once they were like, "Oh yeah, we're remaking this for PC," I'm like, yes, absolutely. And honestly, I should stream that. I just haven't gotten around to it because you got to pay more money.
Yeah, you have to. I think it's a like an Epic Games exclusive, right? The collection.
It is on the Epic Games Store, yeah, and I do have an Epic Games account. I just haven't re-downloaded the thing yet. I gotta do that.
Oh.
I gotta do that.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's good content. I mean, Kingdom Hearts in general is so good. You could have a blast doing that on stream. Trust me. You will do that.
3 yet. Still haven't even beaten 3.
Ooh, well, you can go from 1 to 3 now, like without any problem.
Oh, yeah. I also want to do the. I think it's Birth by Sleep. Yeah, I have not played Birth by Sleep yet either, and that was with the other 3 before the main 3. It was like the 4 times or whatever.
It's so complicated.
I mean, Kingdom Hearts lore is just all over the place, honestly. It's kind of hard to keep up if you're not like super into it.
Yeah, I saw the timeline for Kingdom Hearts is so complicated. How can you be so complicated? Well,
I think what you need to do, so chronologically speaking, the game lore kind of goes as follows. It kind of goes Birth by Sleep, or is it Birth by Sleep? Hold on. Now I gotta look this
up. Don't worry. Anyway, I mean, there's a lot of games that have that complicated timelines. We can also include The Legend of Zelda, Guilty Gear. Those games have really complicated timelines that include everything, well, sorta everything on the bucket. Like, not just the games, outside content also. In the case of Guilty Gear, for example, there are some spin-off games that are canon, there are some pachinko machines that have story important to the lore, which I don't know why, but, well, that's that. Anyway.
Right. So I guess I got the, it goes Kingdom Hearts Unchained, Kingdom Hearts Dark Road, which those 2 I've never heard of. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, I was right. Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days, Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts Coded, Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, Kingdom Hearts 3, and then Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, which is like the rhythm game, which I don't really know if it counts towards this lore or not, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no. I mean, Traverse Town is pretty obvious as far as like songs go, because again, it's a nostalgia factor, because it's like one of the first worlds you wake up in when you're playing as Sora after Destiny Islands. So Destiny Islands is the starting world where you learn a tutorial of the game, you meet Riku and Kairi for the first time, you meet Sora for the first time, and you meet a couple of Final Fantasy characters who also live on this island. I think they're from Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
And then you encounter Heartless for the first time. That's when you get the Keyblade. And then you go on your adventure. The very first world after you fight the giant Shadow Heartless is Traverse Town. That's where you meet Goofy and Donald. And so for me, it's just the nostalgia factor. There's nothing super special about the song. I think just the main melody, which is that part is probably the most iconic part of the theme of this town. And Traverse Town was a creation, unique creation specifically for this game. It's not even featured in any other games that have been incorporated into Kingdom Hearts, because Kingdom Hearts is mostly Disney franchise as well as Square Enix franchise, which includes Final Fantasy. So this is a completely unique world specific to Kingdom Hearts. So
Yeah.
it's not featured anywhere else. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can believe it.
Same with Twilight Town for Kingdom Hearts 2.
Well, there's some also Pokemon related remixes over here. What is your story with Pokemon?
So my very first Pokemon game that I ever played, I think I was 13 at the time. I received a Game Boy Advance SP for my birthday, and Pokemon Sapphire was the very first Game Boy Advance game I ever played. So Pokemon Sapphire Generation 3. Sapphire is my birthstone. I am a September baby, so that's mostly why. And I love sapphires in general because they're very pretty.
Cool.
But that was my very first game. I picked Torchic as my starter Pokemon. And yeah, I mean, for me, it's a very big nostalgia factor. I think from that one, we got an original song from that specific Game Boy Advance game. So not a remix. There's no remixes of this particular theme song for this town, except for maybe like the Omega Ruby and Omega Alpha Sapphire genre, I suppose. So that they did remake it. It's not technically a remix, but it's Verdant Turf Town. And Verdant Turf Town's theme is very same reasons for home and same reasons for Traverse Town. It's the nostalgia factor, and it's also just a very relaxing tune, and it's very reminiscent of like, this is like a small town, you know, this is probably where a lot of people may have grown up in. It's just a very small town, everybody knows everybody, you got family here, you know. That's what it reminds me of, and it's just very relaxing, and it's always enjoyable to just kind of look it up every now and then and just listen to it, for me personally at least. So yeah, it also just reminds me of my first gameplay of Alpha Sapphire, and especially immediately after you leave Verdant Turf Town, it just goes back to the regular root sound. It's like duh, 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 duh.
Oh
it's
yeah.
Just like, adventure again.
Oh yeah, this theme is so relaxing. Holy shit.
And I honestly don't like the remastered version of this particular theme. I do not like the Alpha Sapphire Omega Ruby remake of it. Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just don't.
Well,
I just prefer the.
Yeah, that's a theory I wanted to talk about too, because the nostalgia factor hits way more than you think, and the Pokemon themes in specific can be a really good topic to talk about that, because when you play a certain Pokemon game for the first time and it's your like first experience with the music of the series, then you go to a newer version of that specific game or a new game from the same series, it doesn't hit the same. Like the nostalgia factor hits way more than you think, and this is a perfect example of that. And I love that, to be completely honest, because that makes appreciation for the whole thing even more valuable. Like, it's more precious.
Especially when I can also comment on the old Pokemon cries too. So in the newer games, they've actually updated a lot of the old chiptune cries from Pokemon from the earlier games. And I'm gonna vent a little bit here, so...
Go ahead, this is for that.
Speaking of Gen 3, so there's this Pokemon called Cradily. It's one of the Fossa Pokemon. in the game, and I prefer the Lily Cradily line over the Anorith fossil Pokemon. And they changed Cradilly's cry. It used to be super cool, and you could always know, hey, that's a Cradilly. But they changed it into something horrendous, and it's just like, why have you ruined my boy? Why have you done this?
Well, yeah, that's a common complaint with that. The Pokemon cries are iconic in the Pokemon. Like the Pokemon handheld series in general has some really cool cries that were just no on on the newer ones. I think it was in X and Y they changed that.
Yeah, it was around Gen 6, I think they changed a lot of the Pokemon cries, for sure. Yep.
Ah, God, okay.
Yeah, because that's when they went to 3D, because I think Gen 5, which was Black and White 2, were the last ones with sprites as your character and also as the Pokemon, because X and Y ended up being the ones where they switched over to full 3D. So that was when the 3DS came out.
Yeah. It wasn't X and Y. Well, still though, I mean, the full 3D thing as a visual standpoint is nice. I mean, I like it. When I played it a little bit of Pokemon X, I liked what I saw. But the Pokemon cries is the only thing that throws me off a little bit. Hearing the voice actress for Pikachu saying the Pikachu voice.
Oh yeah,
that throws off a little bit since I usually tend to separate the anime from the games. It's technically.
Did they change that in 6? I thought they changed that in 7.
At least it's the same voice actress, like saying Pikachu.
Thank God they switched it back for Legends of Arceus, and I hope they don't keep it in Scarlet and Violet, honestly, because it threw me off too, and especially since it was only Pikachu and Eevee who ended up getting their voice actors voiced for those Pokemon. I'm like, if you're gonna do that, you might as well voice all the rest of the Pokemon, but if you're not, then hopefully you guys just switch them back to their original cries, because I just can't deal with Pikachu always coming out and being like, Pika! Or Eevee being like, hey, bye!
Oh, yeah.
I cannot imitate their voice.
That throws off. That throws off a lot, yeah. I believe you. Oh.
Although when you Gigantamax Eevee, it's actually hilarious. He's like...
Oh, yeah, the Gigantamax.
And then Pikachu's Gigantamax form is actually... it reminds me so much of the original sprite, which I'm super glad the Game Freak decided to do for the Gigantamax form. But of course, again, you get Gigantamax Pikachu, he's like, Pika. Yeah. I'm like, that's fantastic.
That's so cool, yeah.
I think that's the only time that it's acceptable, it's just because it's funny.
Yeah, true.
Great then.
Yeah.
So I think the other one I chose because I wanted to do more Pokemon ones, but I couldn't remember if I had like any favorite themes. So for that same generation for Gen 3, so I've got a remix of Route 113. So if anybody has never played Ruby or Sapphire or Emerald before, because Emerald's the combination of the two, I guess. Route 113 is the Ash Village. So in this village, it's always raining volcanic ash, essentially. So everything's like filled with ash. And ninjas spring out at you from the ash bushes, and it's great. But you collect the ash in the sack so you can make like flutes out of the ash. You collect all the ash, you bring it to this old guy, and he's like, I'll make you some flutes. And the flutes do something, I forget what it is, like it have like certain effects, like one will attract Pokemon to you, the other one would repel them, and a bunch of other stuff. So they were pretty unique items, unique to that game, which was pretty fun to do, just run around and get all the ash. But the song for this one I always liked, and I really liked the remix for Pokemon and Chill. It just hits differently, I guess. It's very obviously it's a chill genre of music, so it's very relaxing, and I always liked the little, I don't know what you call them, but they're like not like a xylophone, but like more robust than a xylophone, but it's just the whatever instrument they used or synth sound they used. It just reminds me of those flute things for whatever reason. So like it sounds like it would be like what the glass flutes would sound like. So that's why I chose that one.
Yeah. It's
You go play.
yeah, the chill remix we just listened to, it was that, and to be completely fair with you, it was really different compared to the original. And it's good. It's really good. It fits the purpose that it's being chill, like it relaxes you a lot.
Yeah. And I do like a lot of the Pokemon and Chill songs. I just prefer that one the most out of all of them. So
Right.
and I think the only other Pokemon song I chose was from Gen 2, which is the Azalea Town remix. The Azalea Town and Blackthorn City remix, but I don't know which part of it is actually Blackthorn City.
I don't know
It's the Ben
either.
Briggs and Viola. It's the Ben Briggs and Viola Pokemon remix, but I just like that one because it brings a much more upbeat sound to Azalea's Town theme. And Gen 2, I didn't actually ever play the original Crystal game.
Oh,
Yeah, I never played the original, but I did play the remix of Heart Gold and Soul Silver. So I really enjoy this one because it's just more upbeat and it's fun. It's always fun. It's just fun to listen to. And it's just like and it makes me want to just like bob around all the time every time I listen to it.
yeah, I get you. I get you. Funny enough, Pokemon Crystal and the Heart Gold Soul Silver series are literally just my favorite Pokemon games. They were the first I experienced when I was younger. Like,
Hey.
I had a soft spot for Johto, you know, because of the anime and the game itself, doing some stuff like having a true bad guy as a rival that goes growing and growing as a character the more you fight to him. It's so cool.
And the plot twist of him being Giovanni's son is just like, what?
Yeah, that thing was so sick. And the rest of the Johto game, it's not that good since the Pokemons there is not that big of a variety compared to Gen 1.
Yeah.
But I get it. It's supposed to be the last game of the series, and look what Pokemon
It
is
was
now.
initially, yeah.
Yeah, and look what Pokemon is now. Like the biggest
Yeah,
franchise
we're
of
at
all
800
time.
Yeah, 893. If you don't count the new starters, it's 893, I think.
Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot.
I still think it's funny because a lot of people still think that Togepi is a Gen 1 Pokemon because of how much it was shown with Misty in the anime. It's just like, no, that's actually a Gen 2 Pokemon.
Yeah, what the hell? Well, technically, Misty and Brock were Ash's partners for both Kanto and Johto regions, for what I know.
Yeah, for their adventures. I never really watched a whole lot of the original anime, but I always thought it was funny because I would talk to hardcore Gen 1ers. So Gen 1ers, they're a different breed. They don't think that any of the new Pokemon, they don't exist to them. They're not actual Pokemon. They're not real Pokemon. You know? And it's just like, it's hilarious to me because a lot of them are like, oh yeah, Togepi is like one of my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon. I'm like, you do realize that's actually not a Gen 1 Pokemon? They're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, no, that's a Gen 2 Pokemon. Yeah, that Pokemon that you don't think exists, yeah,
Oh,
it does
God.
exist, and you think it's your favorite. It's a Gen 2.
Yeah, what the hell? I mean,
Eh.
granted, it can feel like Johto was just a slight expansion to the Gen 1 Pokédex, but still though, you have to differentiate that.
Yeah, it was always funny to me.
Yeah, it's still funny, what the hell? uh, also,
And it's always great because some people are like, oh, the new, especially with like the newer Pokemon, they're like, it's such a terrible design. It's so dumb. It's like, why did they make this? And I can understand for certain things, like it makes sense. But Gen 1 also had like stupid designs, so you can't really complain too much. There's gonna be a lot of like dumb designs, but there's gonna be a lot of cool designs to kind of overshadow that, So.
Yeah, true. I mean,
Mhm.
granted, there are some designs that I can't believe they complain about it. I mean, Clink Clang
Is it the
and the keys. I can
Yeah.
complain. I can see that being an object
I'm
of
just gonna eat
complaint.
the ice cream cone Pokemon, so.
Yeah, true. That too, but I mean, there are some
Tyrannical.
Pokemons that are more believable. That
Yeah.
looks like an object like how is it? Chandler? Yeah. Chan-
Chandelure, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
Chandler
That's
looks
one
like
of my
a
favorite Pokemon.
Chandler looks like an object, but still, it's believable it's a Pokemon. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it
100%.
goes from a tiny little candle, which you can put in old school chandeliers. They had candles in them, and
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Lamp hint is an oil lamp, and chandelure is a chandelier that has flames. So it all makes sense. It all ties into each other.
Yeah.
And and then I think they actually did a thing that kind of explains Dratini's line. So that's a perfect Gen 1 Pokemon that for some people might not make a lot of sense. But in the newest series, I think it's like the Pokemon that's it's got Ash and Go in it, and they did an episode on the Dratini and Dragonair line with Dragonite, and it basically just kind of explains why Dragonite has arms, because Dragonite wants Dragonite is Dragonair wants to try and save people from drowning and whatever, but it can't because it doesn't have arms. It's only got like a thin body, right? So that's why Dragonite evolves with arms to grab people to save them properly. So and that episode's a really good one, and it kind of explains like some weird evolutionary thing. So like Remoraid into Octillery like makes sense in a way when you think about it like that.
Oh.
So if you're not familiar, Remoraid is a fish, technically, like a miniature version of a piranha that evolves into Octillery, which is an octopus. And I'm not sure the story behind that, honestly.
I thought that Pokemon evolved into a Mandray with two fishes on the wings.
No, Mantike evolves into that's Mantike evolves into shoot, whatever that Pokemon, the big one is.
Well, but
no,
still.
it's featured in the art because a lot of the times little fishes will be under man rays or
Yeah.
man
Because those fishes are used as rockets for what I know, but still.
yeah, they spit things. Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
And Octillery also uses a lot of like beam moves and things that shoot. So like Hydro Pump, and it can, despite being a water type, it actually can learn Flamethrower because of that.
that's cool.
Yeah, it's a cannon Pokemon essentially.
Yeah.
Things.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
We are now hearing to something from, I think it's Gale of Darkness, if I'm correct.
Yeah,
I love this.
Oh, that also kind of fits into Gen 3. This was before Gen 4. This is a This is a GameCube game.
Yeah.
GameCube, and it's the sequel to Pokemon Coliseum. So Shadow Pokemon were a thing in it. I think Pokemon Go ended up incorporating the Shadow Pokemon back. And honestly, I would love a main series Pokemon game with the Shadow Pokemon in it again, just because I think it was such a really cool concept.
Yeah.
But that was my first GameCube game. My first GameCube Pokemon game, I should say. And Mirror B is the antagonist that appears in it twice. He's not even really an antagonist, he's just kind of like a goofy quote villain. Not really a villain, he's just like the comedic relief villain, essentially. He's like Team Rocket, basically.
Yeah.
But I like this one because it's super funky, and Mirror B's like super goofy and he's super hilarious, and that's literally the only reason why I incorporated it, honestly. It's just got a funky beat, and I can bug out.
Yeah, I love that. I love that song specifically. I need to play that someday, because every time I see some Poketubers doing some content over there, I hear that song. Like, it's super iconic at this point. Everybody's using it. I love it.
So I think before we get into the other one, I gotta take a break. My dog's whining at me. He's gotta go outside.
All right, let's take some minutes off. Yeah.
Okay, I'll be back.
All right, we're back. Quick side note: the commands that appear on the title are specifically to listen to the playlist of the video over here and to look at his socials. Please give her a follow. DG for the socials and PL for the playlist. Please give it a listen. It's pretty good. Moving on to the next topic I wanted to try out. Have you? Do you have a specific genre you consider yourself like? It's your favorite or it's the most comfortable for you? Genre of game.
Normally, electronic music, but I'm very, 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 very particular about my electronic music, so that when I say electronic, it kind of incorporates any genre music that has electronic music used in it. So dubstep, glitch hop, lo-fi, anything like that. I don't specify any one type of genre of electronic music because there's so many subgenres to it, so I just simplify it to like anything electronic music. And my tastes in electronic music are very, very particular. It can't have too much. It can't have too little. It's very hard to narrow down for me.
Yeah.
So when I like something, I like it a lot.
Understandable, yeah. Well, I'm more of a rock type myself, but I'm not scared to go and experiment a little bit with some other genres like electronic, maybe some rap every now and then. Just have variety on the playlist for today's activities.
I also like rock music as well, and metalcore as well.
Ooh,
metalcore.
Cool.
Yeah, metalcore is a little bit different from rock and roll because metalcore's got melody, harmony to it, so it's got a lot of instrumentals, but it's also got screaming in it. So it's not screamo, it's metal, but with harmony. So
that's cool.
Metalcore.
Yeah. Now.
So Avenged Sevenfold was metalcore.
Ooh. Moving on to the next subject, video game genres. What would you say is your favorite or the most comfortable you feel with in a specific genre?
RPG.
RPG.
Yep. Yeah, that's easy.
Well,
anything
yeah.
RPG related.
Well, yeah, you've been talking about how you love Pokemon and all of that, and you played a lot of Kingdom Hearts, which is an RPG too. So I should have guessed as much.
Anything within RPG and RPG subgenres. So you could even say that League of Legends is an RPG.
Oh yeah,
as a MOBA.
It is
because now they got so much lore. Riot Games has taken a different turn with their lore because at first they didn't really care too much about their lore, but now they do.
Yeah.
I enjoy it much.
Yeah.
As a lore thing, I love that.
Yeah, I love League of Legends lore. I mean, if you think about it, League of Legends itself, it's so separated from the lore at this point. The lore is its own beast at this point, thanks to Arcane, the page for lore, for every single character, some of the comics, which I would recommend.
If you're talking about League of Legends, yes, absolutely. But if you're talking about Legends of Runeterra, which is their card game, then no, it's not.
League of Legends is its own beast, like I said. Legends of Runeterra is its own beast. The games that are like the Echo game, the Ruined King, Song of Nunu, every single game that is from Riot Games, it's a separate beast from League of Legends.
It's separate, but it still incorporate as far as the League of Legends lore and the games are concerned, everything that has been shown as far as core card interactions in Legends of Runeterra, it is considered canon. Riot Games has confirmed that. So every card interaction, every description of champions in Legends of Runeterra specifically is canon to League of Legends lore. So that is confirmed.
Cool. Well, the game itself, like the mechanics of League of Legends itself, it's an RPG, so yeah. Every game is
RPG.
just a small RPG that takes you in between 1 hour or 30 minutes, depending on the game.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Because even something like the Hades game, which is technically what you call it?
a roguelike.
A roguelike, it's also got lore because you have Greek mythology, so it could technically be an RPG if you think about it as well.
Well,
Because you're
yeah.
you're
I
following
mean,
you're following the mythology of the Olympian gods, but you're like the son of
Hades.
you're the son of Hades, yeah. So you could be anything that you can relate. When you can relate to a character in a way, you can put themselves in their shoes. I consider that to be role playing, and essentially. So basically, anything has a little bit of role playing into it,
True.
except for first-person shooters. That doesn't really count.
Yeah, true.
Destiny 2 though. Destiny 2 though is an RPG first-person shooter, so definitely.
Yeah, true. Everything based on Dungeons and Dragons at this point is basically that. But anyway, and in my case, for example, I consider my favorite genre the fighting games, but I also like to experiment a little bit with platformers since I grew up with a lot of platformers along the years, like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, maybe a little bit of Rayman here and there. But
Yeah.
yeah, those two are my favorites. Like fighting games specifically because it has a certain rhythm to it, and when you make a combo, it feels so satisfying to do it. Like it's so good.
I've only ever played a handful of fighting games because I've played Mortal Kombat maybe a handful of times, and then I also played the Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse, but I didn't really particularly like them all that much, honestly.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I love Dragon Ball Z as a show, but I just never really got into the game.
Yeah. I can understand that because fighting games is usually one of the hardest genre you can get into because of the because of the skill ceiling it has. Sometimes they say, well, we are making this game easier for new players so they can just come in and play. But at the end of the day, if you want to do the good stuff, quote unquote, you may need to learn a little bit more, and that little bit more can be jarring to learn. Like,
Well, yeah, and there's hard learning curves for a lot of different games too, not just specifically for fighting games.
oh yeah,
in itself. And there's also games that I don't enjoy within my favorite genre. Minecraft is one of those. I actually don't enjoy Minecraft as much personally because when Minecraft first became a thing, there wasn't a story to it. They have story modes now, but I still haven't touched it because Minecraft has no plot. There's no direction. It's simply a creation. And that can be great, but I gotta have a story-driven plot, you know? I just can't have no goal other than just create because there's gotta be more to it, in my opinion. I understand the appeal for a lot of people. Can be relaxing. I do visit it every now and then. I just can't get into it. So
I can see that. I mean, I played a lot of Terraria on my own and with friends, and the most I enjoy with those type of games is just go in, build, and that's it. To be completely honest, I'm more of a builder than explorer, so yeah, I don't want to get lost.
Even Terraria's got some sort of end goal. You just gotta defeat the monsters, you know?
Well,
because I do understand they do have monsters.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's kind of the same as Minecraft, so, but with the only difference being, you just have the monsters on the world, you just need to explore it.
Yeah. I like exploration as well. So a very similar game to that would be Slime Rancher.
Oh, yeah!
It's an exploration RPG. You can collect the little slime dudes. You can make your ranch, like upgrade your ranch. That's the kind of game I really enjoy. You can explore. the map, find the different locations, find the different slimes. Oh, that's the kind of game I really enjoy. I'm super excited for Slime Rancher 2. So
Yeah. And you get the lore on the side, like while you're exploring, you get
yeah,
into this temple or you get into this dimension. It's so cool.
yeah.
I love
Not
it.
only don't you not only get the lore from the previous ranch hand, but you also get the lore for your player Beatrice, which is fantastic. So
Yeah,
it's
I
like
love.
double the lore for the price of one.
Yeah,
Go.
and the challenges the others give you to get to their ranches and expand to their ranches and all of that. That's so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, yeah, that's exciting. So I think we still had we still have my Sonic games and
Oh yeah, I almost forgot about it because we're hearing now to Knuckles song. So
fantastic.
can you tell me the story about you and Sonic here?
Okay, so Sonic Adventure 2 specifically, I never played the original Sonic games whatsoever, but Sonic Adventure 2 was my very first Sonic game on the GameCube. My GameCube today still works, and I have played Sonic 2 on stream for PC. I did want to try and link up my GameCube save files to my computer, but I need a specific type of graphics capture card for that, which I need to order. But anyway, so Sonic Adventure 2 is fun because you got the RPG aspect with Sonic. You got we were first introduced to Shadow the Hedgehog in this game, and this for me was my very first introduction to a Sonic game. I've watched the Sonic shows before, but not played a Sonic game before, so I like it a lot. The gameplay. I mean, my only other favorite song would be City Escape, which I did not include on here because I don't think it's as good as
The
I don't
Pumpkin
think the
Hill.
instrumental. Yeah, I don't think the instrumental is as good as the original, and you kind of need to listen to the original City Escape. I would have
Yeah.
included it on this list if I could have played it with the lyrics, but as it is, I
Yeah.
didn't.
I
But the song.
if I were to include some Sonic Adventure 2 games, I'm going with the Eggman. I love that song so much.
I do actually like the Eggman theme song. For me, it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's so fitting with Eggman. So
Sonic
fitting.
Adventure 2 is, for many critics, is arguably the best Sonic game as far as songs go, like song compositions go. It's been many critics have said this, and many longtime players of the Sonic franchise have said this as well. For me personally, I like a lot of the Knuckles songs, especially I think I included Wild Canyon and Pumpkin Hill. Pumpkin Hill, specifically, is it's got a funky beat, and it's creepy at the same time. It's like, it's got that nice mix. It's not super creepy, it's just a fun kind of creepy, and I'm a fun kind of creepy person.
Yeah.
If I could make a BGM for themed similarly to Pumpkin Hill, that'd be my theme. In addition to that, the Dark Garden Chow Garden also reminds me of Pumpkin Hill too, because they're both equally like creepy without being super creepy, you know. So a Dark Garden Chow music, the Dark Garden music theme would also be on this list too. And then Wild Canyon, I included it because as a saxophone player, I do play saxophone by the way. I just love anything with saxophone in it automatically. Like if it's a real saxophone, so it has to be a real saxophone, and I can tell the difference between a fake one and a real one, okay? This is not a fake saxophone, and I just love it so much.
Oh.
And also the lyrics for Wild Canyon is hilarious because it talks about how Knuckles has like maybe a tsundere crush for Rogue, and it's hilarious.
Oh, God, I forgot about that point.
Oh, Wild Canyon's fun. I gotta chase a bat, huh?
Oh.
Yeah, woo, she's sexy as who? And I'm like, what the
Oh,
And that's why,
shit.
not only for the music itself, but for the lyrics specifically, it's just the funniest one for Knuckles to have. So,
Oh, yeah.
like, as I'm searching for pieces of the Master Emerald, I might be thinking about this rat or this bat, but I might not be. I don't know.
Oh god.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, what the Oh. Yeah. Now,
But those are my two favorite Knuckles songs, so.
yeah. After that, dude, you didn't play anything Sonic related, right?
No, I think those were the only two Sonic ones.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because
And I also have.
I was talking about the games. If you play anything related to Sonic after that.
No, I have never played. Oh wait, I did actually get Sonic DX Director's Cut because it also has a Chao Garden in it. So this was the Chao Garden before the Sonic Adventure 2 Chao Garden, I believe. So this one had a story. I think it was that Chaos had been released from the past and came to the present, and Sonic had to try and defeat Chaos, and in between the levels you could get the animals, you can get the Chaos drives from the mechs and give them to your Chao in the Chao Garden. And it was, and because this was the first iteration of the Chao Garden, it's a little bit different to how the Chao Garden in Sonic Adventure 2 is. But, I mean, the concept was still there, and it was still fun. You could still do the Chao race. You could still, like, level up your Chao, and they still, like, had a life cycle similar to the more modern Chao Garden. So, I mean, that was the only other Sonic game I ever played. I haven't really... Oh, wait, and then I also played Sonic Unleashed. So that was the one where Sonic turns into Were Sonic. And I also played Shadow the Hedgehog as well. Although I never got to beat all the specific...
Paths?
paths, yeah. I could only get to like certain ones, so it was very frustrating for me. So,
there we go. Well, in my case, I played it a lot more than I should be playing. Like, after, like you said, Sonic Adventure 2 was your first one. Mine was technically Sonic Adventure 1. But I played it on PC like a few times, completed it one time, and then on PS2 I played both Sonic Heroes and Shadow the Hedgehog. And trust me when I told you, I beat it 100% Shadow the Hedgehog, and you don't want to do that. Like, it's painfully slow to do that. It's so much repetition. Like, I make Warframe play with almost 2,000 hours, and I'm telling you, you grind 10 times more on Shadow the Hedgehog than on Warframe. Trust me when I told you that.
I didn't even beat Sonic Unleashed either. I forget what that was on, honestly, but I liked it just because of Were Sonic. That's literally the only reason why I played it was because of Were Sonic, honestly. Because I'm like, I want to play it because of that.
Yeah.
Like, and especially since it probably also fueled the Sonic community for furry artists. Honestly, it probably did.
Yeah, maybe. I might saw a were version of Amy or Rogue over there. So
yeah. It's great.
I do believe Sonic Unleashed is my favorite. Like, I played a lot of that game on PS2, and let me tell you, it's so fun. It's so endearing hearing that music. If you didn't tell me most of the critics say Sonic Adventure 2 has the best soundtrack, I will aim for Sonic Unleashed. Sonic Unleashed has the best soundtrack for me. Like, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, and I think I did also want to try and play Sonic 06 because of Silver the Hedgehog, because I never got to play that. I think I played a little bit of it once, but I never owned it. But I probably would have played it, even though I heard it was like the worst Sonic overall. I don't really care. I just want to play it.
Yeah,
but it was only available for Xbox, so
yeah, for the 360, and still there.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
Yeah. Well, console exclusive in general are nowadays even more stupid if you think about it. Well, granted, you want that console to get the attention for a little while. Then the game goes for every platform.
But then not having crossplay for a lot of different of those exclusives is
Oh,
generally the stupidest thing ever. Like, I still think that Monster Hunter World still doesn't even have crossplay at all, honestly. And they said they might never incorporate it,
well,
and that's silly.
yeah, technically they will not update Monster Hunter World anymore since they have Rise now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know
No, but they haven't.
if Rise has crossplay with Switch. Now that I think about it.
um, I don't think it does yet. It might not. I'd have to double check though. In which case, I might have to get it. I think you were there when I was trying to play it, and it wouldn't like target anything, and I was super frustrated. And then I returned it, and then I figured out how to turn it on. I'm like, oh well, I don't care. At this rate, I don't care. It was so bad for me.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I'll try it again later when I have feel like it, I guess. But I should beat Iceborne first. So.
Oh yeah, you didn't finish Monster Hunter World's campaigns yet, yeah.
DLC, no, I haven't finished it yet. I'll get around to it eventually.
Yeah.
Me. Ugh. Anyway.
Well, yeah. Fair warning: do not go with Shadow the Hedgehog on the stream. Trust me, it's a pain.
Oh no. I wasn't even thinking about it, honestly.
Yeah. Well. One game I should have in a close second for the Sonic soundtrack would be Sonic Heroes, but most for the stage than the team's songs, if you know what I mean. Like Team
That makes
Chaotix,
sense.
yeah. Team Chaotix.
I mean, like,
sorry, it's Hugo.
I was just gonna say the two songs that were on my list are technically stage songs as well, so.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Pumpkin Hill and Wild Canyon are really good themes. Like, yeah, granted, there are some other themes that could fit in here, but to be completely fair, it fits you more than anything. This type of songs. I don't know, it's weird. Your design and your attitude, I love it. How fitting it is. Like.
Yeah, you didn't really give me a theme. You just told me to pick my favorites, so I'm like, I'm just gonna pick the ones that I like the most. And well, I was having a hard time with some of these because there was a couple that I couldn't really think of because even though I'd heard them, I'm like, I don't like them enough to want to incorporate it or be like, I don't like them enough to consider it a favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there was a lot that I wanted to include, but to avoid some DMCA, I didn't, but I wanted to talk about them anyway because even if we can't listen to them, I'm like, if I could have chosen this over this, I would have, so.
Can you tell me which songs were there?
City Escape was one of them. Yeah, because it has lyrics in it, and what was the other one? I think that was really the only one. I just wanted, and I wanted to include the Wild Canyon with the lyrics on it specifically because of the fact that it's like low key. I have a crush on Rook, but I'm a tsundere about it. So that probably, if I could replace it with the one with the lyrics, I would absolutely 100%. But you know,
yeah.
And I can't think if there's one that does have lyrics in it that I can't include. I don't think there is. I think those were the only two that I probably could have swapped out.
Yeah.
So.
Well, what else do I have on there?
I do have a Zelda song on here.
Oh yeah. It's a chill remix for what I saw. Yeah, here it is.
It's very funky. I think it's from the newest Zelda, one of the newer ones.
It says Kakariko Village. That isn't from Ocarina of Time?
Ocarina of Time?
Ocarina of Time. The
Breath
first
of the
stage. Oh.
Yeah.
Isn't the first station of Ocarina of Time the Kakariko Village?
I'm not sure.
That's still.
In Breath of the Wild, Kakariko Village is a settlement in the West Necluda region of Hyrule.
Oh.
Let me see.
Oh, right.
The Link to the Past was the first one it was shown in.
Oh, right. So.
Throughout all of them, but I think this one is specifically from the soundtrack is specifically from Breath of the Wild.
Oh,
I don't know
right.
if the theme has changed over the years or not,
I
but yeah.
need to check that back since I think it was a year ago since I played Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, because
Jesus.
the image in the video is showing the Breath of the Wild graphics, so.
Hmm. Hold on.
And I don't know, I just liked it because of the main instrument sound. I can't identify what it is, but it's. So my favorite instruments when it comes to any electronic music is that specific, like, pipe sounding noise and slap bass. Slap bass. Oh my god, I love slap. Anything with slap bass is and saxophone. Real saxophone, the pipe sounding instrument, whatever that thing's called, and slap bass are like anything incorporating any of those three is like an immediate favorite for me.
Yeah.
And then Zelda in general, I don't really play a whole lot of the Zelda games. I think the very, very first Zelda game I ever touched would be whatever was on the N64. Probably Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
granted, I'm not a big Zelda guy either. The only two Zelda games I played was Ocarina of Time and Breath of the Wild. That's it.
I do want to play Breath of the Wild, actually. You can get it for the GameCube. I just never. Or no, Twilight Princess is the one for GameCube. I'm sorry.
Breath of the Wild is.
I do want to get Breath of the Wild for the Switch. That's what it is.
Yeah, that.
No, Twilight Princess is the one you can get on the GameCube. I did want to get that one. I don't think I can find it anywhere though, so I'll have to see later.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah, because I think Breath of the Wild or Twilight Princess you could get on Wii and GameCube.
I think there is a Twilight Princess remake on the Switch, but I'm not so sure.
To look. I'll look in the e-store later.
Yeah, also you can have Breath of the Wild both on Switch and on Wii U with original puzzles for the Wii U version and everything, which is so cool. Then,
But yeah, I think that's the only Zelda song I incorporated. And I've seen other people play Zelda. I don't mind the Zelda games. I'm just saying that's the only Zelda game I ever touched, played. I never beat it though. I just played it at a babysitter's place, so
yeah,
it's what it is.
I can get it. Yeah. I mean, granted, I like Zelda OST from older games that I didn't even play, but still listening to them and jamming to them because they're good songs at the end of the day, and they don't like spoil any of the adventure to me, unless I'm just like thinking about it, you know. But either way, that's it. That's the cool thing. I mean, for me, always the background music for games usually are really good if they function outside of the game. Like, let's say you're playing Doom, for example, but then you want to listen to the music of Doom and do another thing, like exercise, for example, which, to be completely honest, hearing the Doom 2016 OST while doing exercise sounds so heavy that it works. That's my point. It works wonders.
Which is why a lot of people will listen to songs like from Animal Crossing, New Horizons for like studying things because the original soundtrack, even without any lo-fi remixes or anything like that, is very, very good for studying, chill vibes. You know, it's already good in itself. Already.
Yeah.
And even Pokemon games too can be. You can also incorporate as well without any sort of remixes, especially if they're relaxing ones. Like any song basically that is slow without lyrics is good for studying because fun fact, if you are trying to listen to music that has lyrics while you're studying, it actually uses the same part of the brain that requires understanding to read. So a lot of time people recommend don't ever listen to music with lyrics because it'll try and mess you up when you're trying to read something because it uses the same part of the brain to understand. Yes.
Right. I get it. Now I get it.
Hmm.
That's why I'm like having a hard time reading something while listening to something. Ah, damn it. Okay.
With lyrics specifically.
Yeah. With lyrics, like
Hmm.
I'm trying to, I don't know, listen to. Oh, what's it, the name of this song? I'm trying to listen the DJ Combo theme from Killer Instinct 2016 that has lyrics, and trying to read something for my like exam or something, and I'm having a hard time of my life there. Like,
Right.
holy shit. Well, now I know
Yeah.
where. Now I know why.
Exactly. Yep.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad to help.
Thank you.
Forget where I learned that. I forget where I learned that because it doesn't apply to me anymore because I'm not currently going to school. But I never really listened to music with lyric. Like a lot of the songs that I listen to rarely have lyrics to begin with, which first and foremost makes it harder to find it if I need to find it and if I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
But secondly, like I just prefer a lot of songs without lyrics sometimes because not everything's gotta have lyrics to it. Or if it does have lyrics, there aren't very many. Which is nice. And
Yeah.
it fits. Mm.
Yeah. Cool.
And
Um.
now you're and now's your chance to be a big shot, so
Yeah. That it,
so
well, moving on to the next subject, what would you recommend for starting in a streaming career? Like, what games will you like to play if you have to start again or something?
honestly, if you're okay, so I started with League of Legends. Um, but I don't recommend that unless you already are a League of Legends player because starting off in League, it's a trip and a half. I would totally not start League of Legends for the first time at the same time you decide you're going to start to stream. I would not because the League of Legends community is toxic. It is very toxic. It is still toxic to this day. And there have been times where I've been streaming and I have had a mental breakdown because of how bad the game was, how bad of a mood I was in, how bad everybody was treating me in that particular game. And there's going to be times where you're going to have a bad game. It's not anything that you did, it's not anything that anything happened. It's just that you know you're good at the game, right? You might have been playing League for as long as I have, and you're like, I feel like I'm a pretty decent player, but then you just go into the game, you're not getting CS, you've died 6 different times, your team is losing, and the team's like, what the fuck? And you're just like, you're just having a bad game, and you just can't come back, you know? It happens. It's not anything that you did. There's nothing wrong that you did, it's just you just had a bad game. It's nothing that you as a player did. But sometimes the other team or your team will blame you, especially if you're like a jungler or if you're an ADC, basically any role essentially. They'll blame you. And you just gotta remember, like, that's not your fault. You just had a bad game. You just can't recover. And even if your team says you suck, then, just mute them. That's all I recommend. But I would, if you're starting to stream and you want to play a game, do something easy. Don't play a competitive game, honestly, unless you're good at it. Like, take time to practice a competitive game first before you stream it, for sure.
Yeah.
If you're good at art, definitely do art. If you're good at talking to people, just do chatting streams. Just take what you think you're really good at and try to apply that to your streams. Or you can be like me and not be good at hardly anything and just stream anyways.
Don't throw yourself down like that. You're doing
No,
your best. You're doing your
yeah,
best.
we all do our best.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. I'm good at a lot of different things. I'm just not
Master.
the best at. I'm not the master of one thing. So that's my best advice. Even if you're like me and you're not super great at one thing, you can still be like, hey, I'm pretty decent at this. I want to show it off.
Yeah.
That's what I.
Basically, TLDR, don't go outside of your comfort zone. If you have a comfort zone game, go with it for starting.
Yeah.
Like in my case, for example, I love the shit out of the Yakuza series. I will start streaming Yakuza for the first time because I know how to play how the game works, how I can be entertaining with that game specifically. And yeah, it's just don't go outside of your comfort zone for starters. If you feel comfortable starting with something new, well, try to play it a little bit before streaming, just to have the grip of the game.
Yeah. And I also recommend nothing super competitive right away, especially if you're starting out, because anything that's super competitive is going to take a lot of your attention. And if you have new viewers, you're going to want to try and greet them as soon as possible. And if you're too focused on what you're doing, you might not be there to greet them right away. And a lot of time people will usually leave like 4 seconds in without being greeted. And I only recommend like super competitive games like League or Overwatch or anything you can't really divide your attention from until you're a little bit bigger. Just because for that reason only. Anything else where you can take your attention away, even if it's a survival game, like if you can take your attention away for half a second and be like, hey, how you guys doing? And then go immediately back to commenting on your game, that's probably preferable over a super competitive game. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if you can pause the game to greet the people coming up to your chat, that's the best thing you can do.
Yeah. Or if you're whacking a tree for wood and be like, hey, chat, I'm just hitting this tree here for wood. Thanks for coming in. How are you guys doing today? You know, something like that. Just pretty easy.
Yeah, basic greeting. Just that.
Yeah.
Well, the next subject is, would you say first-person shooters are not your forte? But there is another genre you consider that too. Like it's not your best, and you consider bad at it.
I mean, I don't really play fighting games either. I've never played a fighting game on stream actually. Probably Legends of Runeterra 2. Even though I enjoy it, I've only played on stream a couple of different times because I can't. This is just specifically from a streaming aspect. I can't find a whole lot to comment about when I'm playing that game, to be honest. I'll play it off stream every now and then, but on stream I don't ever generally have a lot to talk about when I'm playing it, so that's probably another one that I personally can't play on stream. As far as like games I'm bad at, I think just first-person shooters in general, other than Overwatch and Destiny, because I do enjoy those games. I think I'm pretty okay at them. Overwatch especially, definitely better at. My KDAs aren't like super great. It's kind of like League in that regard. I'm not super great at League either, but I enjoy them. Just those two specific first-person shooters. Every other one, like COD or PUBG, I hate those. I just cannot stand the realism. I think that's what it is a lot of first-person shooters are too realistic. Like, they're too much based on real events. So, like, Call of Duty is too much based on American military, or even, like, overseas militaries, or World Wars. I think the only one that is an exception is the one with the zombies in it.
That's zombies, yeah.
But even then, Battlefield is another one I just can't. If it's too realistic, I'm not interested. I love fantasy. Anything fantasy related. That's probably why I enjoy RPGs so much, because I'm very much a fantasy sci-fi person. Anything with magic, anything with futuristic technologies that are not even possible in our current timeline, anything of that nature, I love. I just love fantasy so much. It's just an imagination thing. I'm very imaginative. Ooh. I'm very creative. I just love it so much.
I have two games in the mind right now that you could try out if you feel like it. One is Spellbreaker, which is basically a third-person shooter with mages, and the second one is Dauntless, which is basically a free-to-play Monster Hunt.
I've heard of Dauntless. I think I have it on my Steam. Actually.
It's not on Steam. It's on Epic. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Then maybe.
Yeah.
Wait, why do I have Doom in my Steam library?
Do you?
I just opened up a Steam library and I'm like, why is Doom in here?
Ooh, cool.
It's probably because I'm probably sharing a library with a friend of mine. That's probably why.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute. That doesn't seem right.
Yeah. Yeah, you just say you don't like realistic first-person shooters, and Doom, it's quote.
Doom's right there. That's not part of it's not my library, it's somebody else's. Yeah. My friends.
Yeah, maybe.
Fallout 4 though is another exception because again, it's the future, so it's a sci-fi game.
Yeah,
So, you know, I would consider it like a first-person RPG for sure.
it is technically because of the elements all RPG has, which is leveling up and having to manage your resources.
Yeah, quests and side quests.
Quests, side quests, post-apocalyptic fitting setting
Yeah,
to
exactly.
everything. Yeah,
Mhm.
a lot counts. Yeah. Well, in my
Mm.
case, at the start, like I said, I'm a fighting game platformer player. So the exact opposite of that were RPGs in general. I never wanted to play RPGs because I consider them too slow, too like sluggish sometimes, and the turn-based RPGs are just too slow. But there was a game in 2019, 2020 that I played a shitload, like a lot, and was an RPG. Persona 4 for me was an experience that changed my mind, and it was one of the few games that made me literally just get invested on the game. It, it literally made me so emotional that it makes me understand why RPGs are the popular media they are now. They are so good at this point, and
Yeah.
Persona 4 is an experience every time I have the opportunity I will recommend it. It's so good.
I don't think I've ever had an emotional response to an RPG. Not yet. Not, there's gotta be. So there's not a whole lot. Even shows that rarely give me any sort of emotional response. So I think there's only been a couple of shows that have given me an emotional response, and that would be the current series I'm watching, which is Lost Kingdom. The last couple of episodes have given me like that choked up feeling, like. And
Yeah.
the only movie I've ever cried for is the one with Will Smith in it, where it's basically everybody's dying from this disease that was created, and he's one of the only people who is completely immune from it. And his dog ended up getting bitten. I think it's I Am Legend, I believe it's called. I want to say. I might be wrong, but his dog gets bit by one of these diseased people, and the dog is transforming into a diseased dog. It's kind of like a zombie virus almost, but not quite zombies. And Will's gotta like put down his own dog, and it's super sad. Me and my dad were both watching it at the time. We both were literally like crying.
Well, yeah.
Very sad. It's very upsetting.
Those moments in movies are really cool, and when you can experience that on a video game, it's even more special. At least for me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never had that response. I really hope one day I can find a game that gives me that kind of response, because then it would probably be like one of my favorite games of all time. But until then, I have games that I'm very, very, very fond of. I generally have multiple favorites, so none oversee one or the other currently. I mean, except for Legends. Legends of Arceus has got to be one of my favorite Pokemon games currently. Besides, of course, the ones that I grew up playing. So,
Can you give me a list of your favorite games now that you mention it?
my favorite list of games. Ah, goodness, that's gonna be harder to do.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
You should have had me prepare that ahead of time, so I can't think of any. I mean, Legends Arceus is my current favorite. I think I wish there would have been a little bit of a longer storyline, of
hold
course,
on.
but that's true for
Hold on.
most. Hmm.
All right, we're back. Sorry about that. We were talking about your list of favorite games.
Yeah.
You say Legends Arceus was like the most recent one you have in.
That's most recent favorite, yeah. I mean, my comfort game, if we're gonna talk about comfort games though,
Yeah.
comfort game is usually League. It's usually my fallback when I don't feel like when I feel like playing something but I don't know what I want to play. And I'll be like, I'll just play some League. It's whatever.
Well, that's a good thing you have because I'm still thinking what will be my comfort game if I have to. Well, for example, let's say I have a guest in a future week that we for some reason ended up finishing the talk earlier, and I wanted to like have a little more time on the stream, then I have to fall back and play something, and I don't know why. I don't know what.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like yeah, for me that would probably be it. Like if I were to be streaming right now, I don't think if I'm ever gonna be using this OBS Ninja thingy majiggy, I don't think I could stream while doing it because I don't think anybody wants to stare at a bright ass screen, honestly. So if I were to stream, like if I wanted to be like, okay, I'm gonna stream later after the show, we're gonna play honestly, I would probably be like, yeah, we're gonna play some League or play some Ark or something. Because I'm also playing Ark right now too, so with some friends. And honestly, that's usually my fallback is probably League. I think my other fallback would probably be Overwatch, just because you can also do things with that game. And it's not something that you have to continue or do. And then any other content outside of gaming probably be the art streams, or I mean, I could always do another reading stream. In fact, I might actually do that one later tonight.
Oh,
just get something to do.
Cool.
You know?
I'll be joining that maybe. Yeah. Sounds like a good time. So yeah, I need to think of a fallback, like a comfort game to play, but I mean, I have nothing like for now. Maybe for now. Maybe in the future that game will be King of Fighters, or no. I have to think that a little bit more. But
I mean, whatever you enjoy doing and you know you can always make content on is probably what I would qualify as a comfort game, honestly, because League, I enjoy League despite however many, meltdowns I've had over it. Yeah. I've played this since 2015, so it's a game I've played for a very, very long time. You can always make content on it because it's always updating. There's always something new. And even if it's not always updating or always something new, like for instance Minecraft, there's not always something new going on. So a lot of people might play that because it's a comfort game,
Yeah.
So
it's a good fallback, yeah. If you know how to like make content out of a game, the game doesn't matter that much as long as you can make content out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have fun with it. That's an important part.
Yes, exactly.
That's cool.
Oh. So
yeah. Well,
you ready to be a big shot yet?
No, I'm not. Maybe.
Those are the only songs left.
Yeah. Well, you said you played a lot of like Undertale Deltarune games in general.
I'm really excited for the Deltarune series to update the chapters because I think Undertale really only had the one story. It had 3 different endings to it, but this one, Toby says there's only one ending to it. He says there's only one ending to it. I don't believe him. This is Toby we're talking about.
Yeah,
There's so many theories out there about if he's gonna make it similar to Undertale or what. And then, of course, everybody's like, well, maybe he's actually telling the truth this time. Maybe there really is only one ending, but there could be multiple ways to get to that one ending, Like, you could, alienate everybody along the way if you really wanted to,
Yeah, what would be the purpose of the secret bosses of Spanton and the Jester guy on the chapter 1 if there wasn't a secret ending with all of that?
I mean, you could choose to save them, or you could choose not to, because getting those crystal items, I think that's you saving them in the end. So, or even like the run with, spoiler alert, by the way, there's like a semi-genocide run in chapter 2 with Noelle, where you can freeze a bunch of enemies and essentially kill Burnley. So that's a spoiler there. So you can do like a semi-genocide run. You just directly can't as Chris. You have to go through other people to do it. So, which is a super cool concept, honestly.
Yeah.
Because they start off immediately with that theme from the very first chapter. You don't get a choice. You, as the player, do not get a choice. But you can make other people have a choice, essentially. Which is cool. That's a very cool concept.
Yeah. Holy shit. I need to play the chapter.
There's a lot of implications for that, yeah.
Holy shit. Wait, Hold on. The chapter 2 is paid on Steam or it's still free to play? Because
Feel free to play for right now. But there's 7 planned chapters, and we're on chapter 2, so.
Oh shit! Because I remember the first chapter coming out like out of nowhere.
3 years ago.
Yeah, and then the chapter 2 came out 2 years after. Kinda.
Yeah, it was 3 years.
Oh wait, no.
Yeah,
it came
chapter
out.
2 came out.
It came out.
It came out last year.
2021. Yeah. Still,
Yeah.
oof. That will take a long.
Chapter 1 was 2019. Or, no, it was 2018? Let me see.
I remember it was 2019.
Chapter 1 release. October 31st of 2018, so Halloween of 2018. So yeah, 3 years ago. Well, it'll be 4 years ago this year, but yeah, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And then Delta Rune Chapter 2. I just replaced them on 2. It came out September 21st. Or September of 2021. September 17th of 2021. Yep.
Wow. That's cool. September 2021, yeah. It was last year. Jeez.
Yeah, last year. Yep.
So
several months ago.
It will take till
He hasn't given a release date for chapter 3 yet, so we don't know.
No, he didn't do that for the other 2 chapters for what I know. He just tweeted about it a few days before doing it.
Yeah, he sprung out the idea of like, here, Delta Rune, behold. That was basically it. And then yeah, he did actually announce the second one on Twitter too. He didn't have a lead up to it, but he did say, hey, next month I'm going to release this on this time, on this day. Get ready, basically.
Yeah.
And that was before it was available on Steam too, because at first you could only download directly from the Twitter. If you click the link on the initial Twitter post, you could download the program. But then it became available on Steam for Chapter 2, so yeah.
So Chapter 1 is on Steam too?
It is now on Steam, yeah. But initially it wasn't. At first it wasn't.
Yeah, I know. It was on the Twitter webpage.
That's when I decided to play the Chapter 2 one, I didn't have any save data from Chapter 1 because it wasn't available on Steam at the time. So I never had a save file from Chapter 1.
Right.
Through Steam, at least. So.
Cool.
But yeah, no, I do like... I think the only character theme I liked from the first chapter was probably... shoot, what's his name? The little jester boy, whatever his name is.
I think his name was Jester.
No, not Jester, but the other one, the...
Oh, you guys, I'm evil. Ride my bike over you or whatever.
Oh, you mean Lancer? Yeah.
Yeah, Lancer. Lancer's theme is probably my favorite one from the first chapter, but I prefer most of Chapter 2's soundtrack.
Yeah, I get it. I love Lancers and the battle theme from the Chapter 1. I love it so much.
Oh yeah, the battle theme, of course, which carried over into Chapter 2. But yeah, I mean, Cyberworld... Cyber's world is actually what it's supposed to be said as.
Yeah, it's a question. It's a question. Yeah, Cyber's world.
Yeah, is very, very uplifting. Honestly, it's very cool, and it kind of incorporates, you know, electronic music in a very good way. Because it starts off as I think it's 8-bit. It does start off as 8-bit tune before it gets like a full-on melody with instruments, and it's super nice. I really like it very much.
Yeah, it's a good time hearing this because I just put it out, and when you explained it, the part that 8-bit to the instruments, it was just perfect.
I'm glad I did that with perfect timing then.
Yeah.
I'm not listening to it because I don't know if it's gonna interfere with anything, so...
No, it's okay. At least I'm not hearing anything from you aside of your voice.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
And then, and this one was hard. Okay, so, and this is why I think Spamton specifically should be named the best character of all time, because what other character do you know that has 3 theme songs for himself alone?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I know a few that has 2, but 3 is way different. Yeah.
Because it was very hard for me to find. It's always been super hard for me, for whatever reason, to find Spamton's encounter theme, which is the slow version of Now's Your Chance to Be A. It's like super slow. It's like, and it's like, it's suspicious. It's a suspicious song. Like, you're just encountering Spamton for the first time. He's like, whoop, I'm coming out of the garbage, here I am. Hey kid, you want to be a big shot? And it's like, you're meeting this guy in an alley and his song reflects how suspicious he is. It's like, I don't know about you, dude, you know?
Yeah, it's super sus. Yeah.
And then you get the funk, because it doesn't have any of the sounds where it starts to say now's your chance to be a big shot. It kind of leads up into it. And then he's like, now is your chance to be a big shot. And I'm like, ah. And I'm like, wait a minute. And I've also watched Jacksepticeye's playthrough of this, and I love watching Jack play this because he gives everybody voices. And his reaction was about the same, where he's just like, just like vibing to it. He's like, oh my god, I love this song.
Yeah, I love when people does that, like the voice acting for the characters and all that. Yeah, that's so cool. And yeah, I can't believe that reaction. Yeah. Yeah.
So in my playthrough, because I did play this, and I might have to go through it again and play from chapter 1, so I have the save data for when chapter 3 eventually comes out. So I'm gonna do another playthrough on my channel of Deltarune specifically, but I would try to do the voice acting things because I do want to try and practice different voices for voice acting.
Yeah.
And get better in general with acting as a whole. But my Spamton voice is like, hey kid, you want to be a big shot? The biggest. I used to be a big shot, the biggest, but now I'm not so much, or whatever.
Yeah.
Susie's voice was very hard for me because I tried to make hers a little bit deeper and gravelly, which can be hard on my throat, honestly. And I think at the time I made a joke about that too. I'm like, Susie's too hard on my throat, which can be taken in several different ways. It's just terrible.
Yeah, the out of context of that clip will be funny.
It will forever haunt.
Yeah, don't worry. I usually don't clip this show. I usually just upload it entirely on YouTube without the starting soon screen and the be right back screens.
Yeah, you kind of like cut it down and clean it up, which is good. So
yeah, don't worry about it.
And then of course, initially after your encounter, which surprised a lot of people, I watched a little bit up until that point, so I did know that you were going to fight him eventually. But for a lot of other streamers who I watched their reactions on, they were like, wait, what? We're fighting this guy, huh? And of course, that's when the music picks up, and you're just like, doom, 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 and it picks up, you know, and it actually turns into an actual battle theme song at that rate. And of course, it's still funky. Still got, a little bit of the initial reaction to it, but it's a lot more upbeat and it's a lot less suspicious. It's more confident, like, hey, I can sell this to you, man. Like, you need to take this deal. It's the best deal. It's the best deal you're ever gonna get. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. You want to be a big shot, don't you? You gotta take the deal. Take it. Buy it. Give me your money. You know,
yeah,
like
basically.
It becomes hyperactive and almost kind of desperate in a sense.
Yeah, true.
But it's a lot more of a confident song. And of course, we got Big Shot, which is the secret boss theme for Spamton. And of course, it's a lot more upbeat, more desperate, but more desperate for you as the player, not so much for Spamton being desperate, you know. Actually, if you think about it, Spamton actually has 4 themes, because there's the other one at the end before he dies, actually. where it's
Wait.
kind of like there's 4 of them actually. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. There isn't like a theme when you defeat him, you hurry on that cave in front of him. That
Mhm.
sounds a theme. I don't remember well that part. I remember seeing it.
It's the one right before it's the one as you defeat him right before he actually like disintegrates. Essentially.
Yeah, right.
It's what's it called? I gotta look it up. Oh, hold on. Bampton. Oh, Hey Every is actually what it's called.
Oh.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah, he has 4 then.
Oh, and the dial tone after his shop closes.
Yeah, it all plays out on the television seller theme he has going for it. It's so good.
Yeah, deal gone wrong. Okay, how?
Deal go
Oh,
wrong.
Spampton has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10.
Okay.
He's got 10. He's got 10 themes.
Holy shit. Okay.
Holy moly.
Okay, so
Okay, so-
90% of this playlist could be that. Now that I think about it, because I just asked for you for 15 songs, because
Yeah,
that's
but
the
those are
that's the
a
playlist
lot
I
of these
have.
are actually short though, so that's why a lot of these are actually really short. So, a real boy, deal gone wrong, keygen, dial tone, Spamton, and Hey Every are actually the shortest ones for the themes that he has currently. That looks
Right.
like so. If you compile it all together, that makes one theme.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, so 4 themes. So yeah, no, I mean, and then of course, and I think I said Big Shot was the last of his big themes, you know.
Yeah. You want to be A and Big Shot are his
Yeah.
both his 2 main themes. Let's
Yeah,
just
his
say
main
that.
Yeah, and then you got his encounter theme, which is just called Spamton. So
Yeah.
when you first meet her, which is a suspicious thing. So I was like, yeah. But no, I love the character. I love him in a different way than Sans, because Sans to me is like Sans is Tumblr sexy man if you think about it, for me specifically. But Spamton's my baby boy. He should not be sexualized. He is the baby. He needs to be protected. He is the small trash man. Okay, he is the small trash dumpster baby. Nobody should sexualize him. So as soon as I learned that people were doing that, I'm like, of course they would. And I'm like, no, he doesn't deserve it.
Yeah, it's
He
internet.
deserves to be protected.
Yeah, it's internet. Go haywire every time a character popularizes themselves. So yeah.
But and the main reason why he's as popular as he is because his story, once you know his backstory, his lore specifically, what isn't even said, once you know it, it's tragic. He's a tragic character. And that's why, for me personally, I'm just like, I need to protect this trash man. I'm like, he deserves more than, you know, becoming like this crystal thing, you know. He deserves to exist still beyond the boss battle, in my opinion. And there's a lot of art in alternate universes where he does survive that and he regains his form. He keeps his form and he gets to go back to live with his Addison friends. And those are the best comics. I love those comics. I love those renditions of him just getting to vibe and getting to exist still beyond the boss battle, and those are the best moments for me. And I love those people. Thank you all so much for keeping Spamton alive in your alternate universes.
Oh yeah. That's a cool thing with fanfics. Sometimes they could adjust some stuff from the original material that can make some, like, translate the sentiment of the original material into a new thing based on that original material. which is so
I
cool.
mean, or it just like connect the dots into what isn't said to get the entire story, you know.
Also true.
And there is things hinting at Spanton's past that are canon to him specifically, that kind of lead up to what he had become, and then towards the end, he remembers who he used to be, you know, and it's sad. It's sad. It really is, and that's why I love him as a character. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm not that like I don't have favorite character for a specific for like of all time. I have a specific characters that I love in their specific franchise that they made the game for me. For example, Majima on the Yakuza series is the best character you can have there. He basically has the same thing with Spanton, that he in every single game has a different theme. And there are like at least 8 games of him, like being a boss fight, and he has different theme on every single one of them. It's so cool. Then you have on Persona 4, for example, my favorite character there will be Kanji, because he's the classic tough guy that does some stuff that on the eye of the public is so soft. You will not believe he's doing that.
Yeah. Not to be confused with Vtuber Kenji, of course.
I say kanji, not kenji. So yeah, there's a difference there on the letter.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you will not see Son Kenji doing I don't know, toys made out of some type of wool or something. Like
Yeah.
that's Kanji's thing. Like he's the tough guy of the town. He's like intimidating to everybody, but on the other side, he just likes to do clothing, to do some dolls for the kids of the town, and he's just a good guy. Like he's misunderstood. But yeah,
Classic.
yeah, it's a classic. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh.
yeah, then you have on like what else? I have for example on Warframe, I'm known as the Rhino main, which is basically a tank. But if I have to pick like lore wise, who will be my favorite? Well, that's basically everybody's favorite, which is Excalibur Umbra, which is basically the only frame that has like a main quest on his name with cinematic and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, there are some Warframes that have some really cool lore and all of that, but Excalibur Umbra is the one who has the most spotlight, you will say.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my point is, I don't have like a specific favorite of all time. I just have favorites on every single game I play. That's
Yeah,
my
I mean, I also have other favorite characters too. I don't generally have favorites that are specific to their games. I just have favorite characters in general. So that's
yeah.
which is fair. I mean, like I can understand that you might have a different character per genre of game, and then I could probably say the same thing too. But then I also have like a separate list where it's like these are my favorite characters from any game ever because they're awesome characters. So like Phantom is on that list, of course. And then also I've got Cade 6 because Cade 6 is just hilarious, honestly. If you've never played Destiny franchise in general, you should just listen to some of Cade's voice lines, just the voice lines, because he's a hilarious character. I'm trying to think of other characters. I like Shadow. I do like Shadow the Hedgehog too as a character. Anybody who is a villain that goes anti-hero or tries to be a better person, like that's just awesome. I mean, Shadow was learning to be a good guy to begin with, but then he lost his memories, of course. Got brainwashed and thinking, oh, I gotta destroy the world or whatever. But then he kind of like redeems himself and remembers who he was, you know. So I mean, that's a good thing for Shadow's backstory.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's hard to get some of the lore for Shadow like correct because of the mess that are the games in general. Like, for one hand, you have Sonic Adventure 2's ending, then that got scrapped and retcon on Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic Heroes and all of that. But I mean, Shadow itself, I don't mind it as a character. It's not my favorite of the franchise. That will be, I think, either Knuckles or Hector. But Shadow itself is a good character. Yeah, it has a pretty solid story at the end of Sonic Adventure 2, and I think on Sonic Heroes. But I'm not played that game in a long time. I need to refresh my memory. But
yeah, I don't think I have any other favorite characters other than those ones right at the moment. As far as like my overall list goes,
it's your
Not
top
really,
three,
anyway.
yeah. Well,
yeah,
you will get more on the future, I think, with future games
Sure.
you have to play and all of that.
yeah, I might compile another list at some point, but I
Yeah.
think, yeah. Do we have any closing thoughts or remarks or?
Well, yeah, we are 2 hours in, and I think we have a good time to just let it go. The last time it ended up with 4 hours, but that was because we were ranting about some stuff like uh, peripherals of other consoles and some games that need to come back. But
Yeah.
knowing you are not the type of um, character
Look into
to
it.
yeah, to look into it. Yeah, me and Midori were just going in like it's the
Yeah.
competitive story and fighting games, maybe some obscure mascots that needs to come back, and we were just ranting about it for 4 hours. It was fun, but I have to say, having you here was also a pleasure. Like, I love talking about meta on League of Legends. I love talking about RPGs sometimes. Undertale and fanfics are a really good topic too if you know how to handle them. And I think we did a good job here. Yeah.
Yeah, and it also helps that I'm not part of like the you have to like it this way, you have to do it this way, or else. You know, I'm not ever when I'm a fan of something, I'm not a super hardcore fan. I don't try to gatekeep. I don't try to be like, hey, you have to do it this way, or you have to like it in this way. You have to play it in this way. It's just like you gotta do your own thing.
Yeah.
I think that's for me that for all the fandoms that I am a part of, I've always had that general vibe. Just like you can experience it your own way. You should experience it your own way. You can take the opinions of other people and base your own opinion upon those opinions if you want to, but you don't have to. It's best to experience it your own way and make your own opinions and
Right.
judgments.
Right.
And
Right.
I've always had that concept basically on anything really.
Yeah.
Same
That.
thing with me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my point too. If you have your own point of view of everything, it's good, but don't force it on everybody, because that's the point of liking something. It's not forcing people to do it. It's just let people do it themselves if they like to. That's for example what happened to me. I had a friend that, for example, loved to play Persona at that time. And since he wasn't even talking to me because, well, he was playing, I said, well, whatever, I'll try it out, why not? And ended up with one of my favorite games of all time. Like, Persona 4 is like that, one of my favorite games.
Yeah, and that was basically the same way with a friend of mine who got me into the league. And then they were like, hey, you should play this game with me. And I'm like, sure, I'll try it. And then I've been stuck on it ever since. Of course, that same friend hasn't played League in a very long time, but, you know, I can find my own way into playing it. And I just like to warn people about the community because it can be toxic. And I know it can. And sometimes I've even been toxic myself, and it's not like I wanted to be, but,
It's forced.
you know, yeah, it's just like one of those things that just kind of happens.
Yeah.
And you try to be better for it. You realize you're like, oh, I was probably like pretty mean that game. I should try to be better, you know. So it is what it is.
Recognizing at least the part that makes you toxic is one important part on like every competitive game. Like, you need to recognize when and where you were toxic so you can get better at it. But sometimes it's just natural to just complain about it. Because sometimes, yeah, people can make you mad for whatever reason they're playing the game. And some people are like doing that on purpose because that's what they like to do. Stuff,
There
ignore
are true
those.
trolls out there.
Yeah. True. There's a lot of trolls there, so we need to keep an eye out just for them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I think we have everything said and done here. It was a pleasure to have you here, Dave. Really, really,
It was
really
fun.
cool.
I like getting to talk about my favorite genres of games specifically, and I'm glad to share some of my lovely tastes in music and explain the reasonings behind them. So
Yeah, that was really fun. Yeah, it was a pleasure
I
to
wish-
hear this.
yeah, I wish I could have gotten more technical with it, but like again, I said I'm not really super good with music comprehension or composition or anything like that. Even though I've played a musical instrument for a number of years, I'm just not uh the professional on that kind of things. I just have a basic understanding. So
Yeah.
oh well, always next time.
Yeah, there's always a next time, yeah. So, with that, we say goodbye here. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye, thanks.